Hello, good evening to you, and welcome to another episode of Advancing the Cause. We're here again to fill you in with a lot of facts. I'm all happy this evening, and I guess you were happy too. The mere fact that we're alive and well, it's enough reasons for us to be happy. Well, tonight on Advancing the Cause, our theme, our topic for discussion on tonight, Advancing the Cause, is talking about look at what has transpired then. Is it different now? Look at what has transpired then. Is it different now? And so tonight we are going to feature some of what transpired when the PPP were in office 23 years ago. And we are going to, you will tell me if it's different now or if it's the same or what is happening. You're going to tell me. So we are going to take calls tonight. Last week we hadn't a chance to take as many calls as we wanted to because, of course, when you have guests, you have to make way for your guests. But this week I'm going to allow you to make the calls. The operator is going to put the telephone number there on the screen in a while, and you're going to be able to make your calls or send your WhatsApp messages. But you know what, folks? Um, every week we have to talk about what is happening on our roadways. Every week we have to talk about that. Um, every 2 days we're having an accident. We're having fatal accidents, and it is heartrending that we're losing so many of our young people. So many families are hurting. So many families are broken. Come on, I don't know, Mr. Traffic Chief, you're going to have to do something about this. Mr. Commissioner of Police acting, come on, you have to do something about this. Talk to your folks on the road, your officers. Let them be a little more vigilant on the road, especially during the evening hours and into the night. Don't let them they should not be daytime officers. We have too many daytime officers. We must have our police officers at nights so that they can man what is happening on our roadways. Too many lives are lost. Look, just the other night, 4 at one blow. A father and his daughter, and 2 young men. And somebody else is seriously injured. Come on, folks, we can't afford to have that. In 2 weeks, 20 lives. 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, 20 persons have lost their lives on the road. This can't be it. It cannot be business as usual. We have to do something else. We've got to do something. Let's start the awareness campaign. Too many lives are being lost. Too many families are hurting. Too many children are losing their fathers. Too many uncles. Too many aunts. Too many grandmothers. Too many grandfathers. It's way too much. Something is wrong. Something is wrong somewhere. We've got to crack down on all of these night spots too. Too many young people are getting involved in things that they're not supposed to get involved in by being come on. We've got to be careful about the amount of alcohol we're selling persons when they come to our clubs and so on. While I hear you that it's a business and persons must be responsible, we have to be a little bit more responsible too. Persons driving innocently down the road, and some crazy person is going down the road there who has no respect for his life or her life, and the next thing you know, it's a head-on collision. We can't afford to be losing our people. We got enough already. And I've been saying, I said this last week, and I'm saying it again. We don't have enough persons in this country. We don't have enough citizens in this country to be able to enjoy the wealth of this country. And so we don't want to have other persons coming in here to enjoy what our foreparents worked hard for. We want to be able to enjoy the wealth of this country, the resources of this country. So come on, folks, tell your friends, Tell everybody, let's be careful on the road. Stop this speeding. Stop drinking too much. Let's be careful. Let's look out for each other. And so I would want to send out condolences to all those persons who have lost their loved ones, whether they've died in road accidents or otherwise. Our sincerest condolences to you, and we trust that you're going to use the memories, those pleasant memories you have of them, to give you the strength you need at this time. Imagine an 11-year-old girl just started school, all excited about going to her new school. And you know what? She's dead now. While we're at it, just share the live. Call your friends, call your neighbors, call your family members. Just tell them advancing the cause is on. And so we want to say good night to some of our faithful few, well, not faithful few, the regulars in the house and the newcomers. We have Forbes, we have Jennifer, we have Yvonne, we have Rosamond. Who else we have there? Uh, Thomas. A lot of folks we have there. Miss Booker, Troy Fraser, we have Damien there and his mommy who's watching there all the time. Look, we've got a lot of people here. Good night to all of you. Cheryl, Hyacinth, everybody. Good night to you. And of course, we have to say good night to Roxanne and Petal and Paulette and our folks who are watching us from way out there in French Guiana. We have our friends in Paris. We have our friends in Switzerland, those in Turkey, those in the Caribbean, those in North America. Good night to all of you. And thank you for always being here, so we can talk about what's happening here on Advancing the Cause. And so we go over to those who would have celebrated birthdays during the week. Quite a lot of persons. We have a 99-year-old, and we want to say congratulations to you for having batted so well, and you still have much more to go. Quite a lot more energies you have to go. So we want to wish you well, and we want to thank God for sparing your life to see more than the 70 that has been promised, and of course, by virtue of strength. We have teacher Roxanne Lynch from way up there in region number 6. She could have celebrated her birthday, and so many others who celebrated birthdays today and yesterday and the day before. Happy, happy birthday to all of you. And I trust that this year is going to be a year of success for every single one of you. And for those of us who are watching whose birthdays have passed and whose birthdays are coming, we want to we don't want to ask you to speed it up, but don't get jealous. Your time is coming for your happy birthday wish. So again, good night to all of you. And I'm hoping that while we sit and talk here, you're going to be enlightened and you are going to share some of what you feel as well. Well, I just noticed that we were having citizens protesting at the stadium, citizens protesting at the stadium, that they want to have a renegotiation of the Exxon contract. I saw citizens there protesting, and people have a right to sound their voices. If they don't feel comfortable about what is happening, persons have a right to sound their voices, and it they should not be condemned for doing that. It is quite hypocritical when the PPP is out of office. They say all kinds of things and they support all kinds of actions. But when they're in the seat of government, it's a big thing. It's a crime when people have to protest. But if you don't fix people's business, then persons will have to protest. They will have to speak out. They will have to talk about what's happening them. So don't get upset when people are protesting. And then we have Mr. Anand Gulsaran. He was saying a couple of days ago, he said that the government still owes the nation an explanation on Exxon's 214 million US expenses. The government, they owe us an explanation. I'm hearing the VP, every Thursday at his press conference, he's talking about all sorts of things, but he's not giving us the kind of explanation and the kind of information we need. what I've noticed now, and I think it's the conference that is causing some confusion for the, well, some more confusion for the VP. And so he's getting crazy now, and everybody is a criminal for him. Everybody is a crook except the VP. I wonder if the VP finds Sue yet. Everybody else is a crook. Everybody else is a criminal except the VP. The VP should tell us how much he paid for that spot where he has that mansion there in Pradoville 2, I think it is, in Pleasance up that side there. He should tell us. He should tell us how much he paid for that. You know, there's a whole lot of them who got to ask for, who got to confess. You know, I hear the president, Orfanali, talk about confession and confess your sins. I wonder if he confessed his sins. Huh? He has learned, you know, he has learned well from his president then and then still now. So he is following in his footsteps, and he's doing the same kinds of foolishness. You know, I hear him talk about 8 times they would have extended invitation to the opposition, formal invitations, and the opposition would have ignored them. You know, he's the shake hand boy. He gets a whole lot of feelings. He catches feelings for not having his hands being shook or shaken. I don't know what's this big thing about shaking hands. And if your hands, if somebody refused to shake your hand, as in this case, it was the leader of the opposition who refused to shake his on Emancipation Day a year ago, that has really hurt him. But you know what? The president is being very deceptive and liared. Let me say that. Well, I can't use liared in the National Assembly, but I can use it here. He's being very dishonest. It was a big thing for them to show the pictures while they were there in at the Stelling Road there in New Amsterdam, and the opposition leader refused to shake his hand. But you know what? The Guyana Conference of Seventh-day Adventists had their conference session. And right there, the president came and he extended his hands to the leader of the opposition, and he got his handshake. He extended his hands to Karen Cummins, Member of Parliament, myself, Joan Ramsindo, and a few others, and we got handshakes. But they're not showing those pictures. You see how hypocritical they could be? Conveniently, he's talking about, oh, handshake and handshake and handshake. You know? But he's not talking about the handshake that he got then. He's not talking about it. You know, these people, they're such sometimes you can't use the real words that you want to use. Huh? And when they finish, they want to call you hooligan, they want to call you this, they want to call you that. All kinds of things they want to call you. And oh, let me take time off to say good night to his worship, the mayor of New Amsterdam himself. Good night to you, sir, Mr. McIntosh. Good night, and it's good to have you here. And so, as we move on, this handshake thing, look, Orphan, forget this handshake thing. Handshake doesn't say all is well. Sit and talk and put your talks into action. That's what we want to see. The Constitution talks about consultation with the opposition leader. Now, you're not telling this nation that the opposition leader would have written to you indicating that he has no problem with the confirmation of the Chancellor and the Chief Justice. You're not saying that. You're not saying to the nation as well that you responded to him with a whole lot of arrogance, that he shouldn't be telling you about confirmation of those 2 distinguished women, that you are going to do that when you are ready to do it. You're not telling people that. Man, look, you need to go and confess your sins, you know, Irfan. Go confess your sins. And when you finish your confession, come and let's talk. Let's talk. The opposition is ready to work with you. And you should say to the Speaker of the National Assembly that he should be fair. So y'all need to confess y'all sins. Don't come on national television and talk foolishness. What's this handshake thing? Handshake, handshake, handshake. The hell was handshake? Come on. Sit and talk and let the talks be meaningful. We don't want but handshake and handshake. And tell the nation when you receive letters from the opposition that they're ready to talk. We're ready to talk. We're ready to have meaningful consultation. We don't want to come and you raise something, and when we disagree with what you raise, you go out there and tell everybody, oh, you had consultation and you're doing what you feel like doing. That's not consultation. And so as we move on, Ali, try. Don't bother with this handshake thing. Stop carrying feelings about this handshake thing and get on with the business of the people. That's why you were installed, to get on with the business of the people. And then, this government is a real laughing stock. This government is a real laughing stock. We are seeing here now the very Minister of Labor, the Honorable, well, I ain't sure that he's so honorable, but I can call him honorable anyhow, Joseph Hamilton. He announced to this nation that they're going to have to import labor, truck drivers, this body, the body, all kind of people they're going to have to employ. Now, here, the man putting his foot in his mouth now. The man say that the government will train 100,000 females. They are going to train. And they are going to train them to meet the labor demands. They are going to train them to operate heavy duty equipment. You remember we did bring in truck drivers? Welding and fabrication. Oh man. Which school y'all really went to? Which school y'all really went to? Wait, we had to make noise for you to decide now that you can train these people? So now, and I had to talk about the women and all the fields that women are in, and why we're not extending, the courtesy of offering training to women, why we're not training more men and training them to operate heavy duty machinery. And so the minister said they're going to be training 100,000 women, and they're going to train them to meet the labor demands, and they're going to train them to operate heavy duty machinery, and they're going to be trained in welding and fabrication. At least he got a little sense and he can do something right. Well, we got a big story coming up here. Look at what transpired then, and is it different now? Cash stolen from region number 6, RDC's office. Is it different? Cash stolen from RDC's office. Undisclosed amount of cash stolen from RDC's office in Region 6. I'm hearing that one guard was tied up. There were 4 guards on duty, but one guard was tied up. Y'all work the mathematics out and tell me. I ain't gonna say anything else. Y'all work it out and tell me. Cash stolen. Now, how do people know exactly where to go to get the cash? Huh? Is it something that was planned? Somebody tells somebody and they set this thing up. Y'all work it out and tell me. And then by the time we're not finished with that, so the police are investigating. The police are conducting investigations. We like to use this term. The police are conducting investigations. And the police are conducting investigations, and sometimes you don't hear anything about those investigations. You don't hear about the report. You don't hear whether anybody is held. You don't hear anything. But this story does always end up with the police are conducting investigations. Now, before that even slide off, 40 tablets, the gadgets, 40 have been missing from Mabaruma. Not sure if it's from the education department or if it's from the RDC's office. but 40 tablets have gone missing from the Maruma office. Is what is a medicine sharing? Is what is a flu going around? I don't know. Somebody got to tell me is what happening here. Somebody got to tell me is what happening here. And so this is what has been happening on our highlights. But we gotta look at this thing. Is it different? Look at what transpired then. Is it different now? And I want to show you one of the clips there. I guess we can show any one of the clips. Not the book as yet. Not that book as yet. We can show any one of the clips. Um, so viewers, you're going to tell me whether it's different now or if it's the same thing. You tell me. Look at this one here.
Street dealers and other criminals are brought into court. They are at the lowest level of the drugs trade. For years, Guyana has been either forgotten or ignored by the rest of the world. But now narcotics have put it on the map. Guyana is a drugs crossroad. Cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela passes through here on its way to West Africa and the Caribbean and onto markets in Europe and the US. Here in the Anti-Narcotics Unit headquarters, we were shown the latest drugs confiscated. 7 kilograms of cocaine were soaked into these clothes. There were also some drugs found inside these cardboard separators, and 3 kilograms of pure cocaine, worth about $300,000 in the streets, were hidden here in this false bottom of the suitcase. There were also greeting cards destined to Canada and England, and when you actually open the greeting card, you find 23 grams of cocaine worth about $5,000 in the streets of Europe and North America. In fact, here in Guyana, there is a saying that the only thing drug lords have not put cocaine into is the national anthem. Guyana's mafia organizations have become the international middlemen. They sell drugs for almost
You tell
twice
me,
what
is it different now? Mm-hmm. Is it different now or is it the same? We're not going to listen to Clement Roy. He was Minister of Home Affairs then, but we're not going to listen to him because he, just like then, they really ain't got nothing sensible to tell us. Nothing sensible they don't have to tell us. Not that one yet. Let's talk about this one. They don't have anything sensible to tell us. So we had drugs then. We were known. That's what brought us to the limelight. Outside of the oil that we found recently. But then this was 23 years ago that happened. As soon as the PPP were installed in office, August 2nd, bam, more drugs again. Largest drug bust. Is it different? Tell me. Look at what transpired then as we saw in the video, GT again being made a narco state. Operator, let's see that one with the family favorite somebody. Not that one. The brother story. We're looking at the brother story. Is it different then or is it the same thing now? The other one, right? No, come back. Yes, that one. Let's look at what's happening here. Look at the headline, folks, viewers. Look at the headline. Look at the headline there. Family, friends, and favorites. Look at the headline. Look at the headline. Is it different from what transpired 23 years ago? Is it different? We'll talk when the lines are open. We'll talk when the lines are open. You will tell me if it's different now. I mean, we ain't got no shame, These people ain't got no shame, none whatsoever. Mind you, We're not saying if persons are qualified that they should not get positions. But come on, man, when we had this ad, when this ad was out, oh, come on. When, and like the reporter said just now, the only thing that we have not desecrated yet is the national anthem. That's the only thing, and maybe the national pledge. But the national motto, we make it into one Guyana. The national motto has turned one Guyana. Well, I don't know how y'all gonna fix it, but the children in schools will be taught one people, one nation, one destiny, not one Guyana. And yes, our viewers are saying thanks to the PPP for making Guyana, after APNU would have cleaned it over the last 5 years. Bam, again. Looking back then, is it different now? Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. Not this one, the one with the young lady there.
To sleep. I am homeless. Watch at me right now. I have to left my job for come because the elements, the destruction, the bad mind that I break down my house. Indian, PPP, Guyana get enough money. We are so rich that I can't live like this here tonight. They gotta find something good for we. But all these children, how are we going to school? How are we eating? How are we sleeping? Where are we going to go? Who's going to rescue we? The last is them. Who is going to give we back?
Were you home today? Travis, not officer.
Yeah. I was on top of that excavator. You understand me? And if I could have done more, trust me, I would have done more.
How long have you been living in Hillfoot, ma'am?
Is it different then? Looking at what transpired then, is it different now? And this is the PPP. They have not changed. And that's what I want you to understand, viewers. They have not changed. What they've done is return with more vengeance. That's what they've returned with. And Guyanese people are suffering. The people in this country, many of our middle class and lower class citizens, and don't get me wrong when I say lower class citizens, I'm just referring to citizens who cannot live a decent life. The masses are suffering in this country. So the PPP broke down homes during the 23 years. You remember broke up then? You remember them? You remember broke up then? The same thing they're doing now. It's indifferent. Look, we got celery that we growing right here. Celery that we growing right here. Look, one parcel for $500. Celery that we are producing right here. And these people want to talk about all this development and all that is happening in Guyana. And Guyana is, the people in Guyana are comfortable. Comfortable where? Where are we comfortable? How can people be comfortable when you have to pay $500 for that little parcel of celery? Huh? How is it? How is it? Huh? How is it that we can pay? How many family members, how many mothers could go out there and buy 5 parcels of celery at $500 each? That there is one cooking. For those persons who have illnesses and they have to use quite a lot of celery and carrots and so on to make juice, they can't make it. They can't make it. How are people really living in this country? That's the question. Don't tell me about tall buildings and you're doing roads and you're putting up roundabouts and so on. People can't eat roundabouts while we appreciate that it's beautifying our country and it's making our country modern. At the end of the day, when the construction work there is finished, what happens? What next? So don't talk about construction and work being done here and buildings being put up there. They can't eat the buildings. They can't even go and stand in front of some of those buildings. So here it is. In oil-rich Guyana, people are still, they can't make it. $500 for that celery. But then we got a fancy story that we have to bring to you. And the story is the same now because the story now, they're still doing the same thing. Could we could we have the clip with the former Minister of Health, Berry? And Berry's still talking up now, you know. Berry's still talking up now. Look, Minister threatens to slap and strip women's rights activists.
Thank you, Travis. Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsaran was caught on an audio recording threatening to slap and strip women's rights activist Charlene Najir. Just imagine, just months after Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal was heard threatening the staff of a local media entity and referring to a female reporter as a thing, his colleague Dr. Barry Ramsaran is doing likewise. On Monday, the health minister hurled nasty slurs at this women's rights activist, just because she asked him a question. Listen.
And you, my dear, who are here? Why are you here? I am here. Which job? I'm a candidate. I'm a candidate. Shut your mouth and get out my face. Out of my out. No.
Dying under your
what?
watch.
Just please. I'm not touching. Please. I am not entertaining. Please. Oh yes, my dear. We have less maternity deaths now. You idiot. We have less maternity deaths now. I'm a candidate leading these people. We are going to win the elections and do better. Get the hell out my face.
Ramsaran was at the time speaking to Berbice-based reporters outside the Wim Magistrates Court, where he had gone to lend support to former President Barry Jagdeo. Jagdeo had criminal charges brought against him for making statements that are alleged to be racially divisive. Ironically, Jagdeo has been accused by his ex-wife, Varshni Singh, of being abusive. And even though the PPP continues to stress the elimination of violence against women, some members of the party continue with the disrespect. Listen to Dr. Ramsaran and hear the tone and the expletives coming from that minister.
I'm having a private discussion, please. Please. I'm having a private discussion. Yeah, it is recording.
This is a
Look, the cameraman is taking it. I am a candidate of
my money is paying yourself.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Quality of politicians.
Yes, my dear. You have.
F off. That's what you have that recorded. I'm a little piece of shit.
Yes.
Well, you're a bigger piece of shit.
Idiot.
Yes.
Officer, could you stop this woman harassing me? Okay, please.
Charlene Najir is known to be very outspoken.
We can take this one off. Y'all think they're easy? These folks ain't easy at all. Y'all think they're easy? So the same thing they did then are the same things they're doing now. You remember Dildo Boy? Same things they're doing now. Huh? Same thing they're doing now. Ain't no different. Same very thing they're doing now. What transpired then and what is happening now, it's not different. The same way they shouted at folks then, they're shouting at them now. You remember, operator, I don't know if you can pull that slide for me with the where the president harassed one of his bodyguards. The same thing that happened then is the same things happening now. Huh? They're not different. The PPP, no good for this country. So Barry calling the woman an idiot, telling the woman he can strip and slap her. They're no different. They're no different. These people in ordinary, they're not ordinary at all. Same things they've been doing then, they're even more empowered now. And they're doing the craziness. They're doing the craziness now. Huh? They're not easy. Look, y'all take a look at you'll see just now what is happening there. I don't know where we are going as a nation. I don't know where we're going. You notice in the clip before, a young lady was talking about where she's crying out, where am I going to sleep? The people at Hillfoot, the people at Mocha, break down their homes. Huh? The people at Success, flooded them out at night. You know? It's only thieves that operate at night. Yes, so the operator will play that one. He's going to show us what
specific fields. There will be a booth designated for that here tonight. So persons who are unemployed and looking to become employed, they can come down here to the Providence National Stadium and they can find out more about how they can improve their skills, how they can become employed, gainfully employed.
Yes, we just want to see the action that is happening there. Y'all look, take a look at the action. Look, story there. Look, story, man. Look, the story. Ah! You see story here? So strip and slap and dragging. Look. Is it different? Is it really different? This is what we got to deal with. You see how everybody left with their eyes open, their mouths open, because they couldn't imagine, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And every man jack quiet, nobody could say anything. Nobody could say anything. And so that's the kind of life we have to live. That's the kind of people who are here and who pretend that they are leaders and they know everything good. Everything they know. Every single thing they know. They know what to do. They know how to do it. But let's look at this one here. Could you show us that one, the famous master blaster, the Ferial Blast? Show us that one, operator. Let's see if it's different then and what is happening. Let's show us what happened then, what transpired then. Let's see what transpired. Let's see what transpired then. Look, the story. Look, story that's gonna pass here now, man. Y'all tell me if these people really, huh? And I have to remind you, folks. I have to look, viewers. I have to remind you. I have to remind. We have to be reminded. We have to remember these things. We got to remember these things. We got to remember these things.
And they are haters. At Mark Benchcop, we could give a liver and he's not going to cheer. He's probably going to heckle. Nigel Hughes, no friend of the government. I mean, he has this deep hatred for all of us. We are not apologizing. We're not sorry at all that we spoke.
On July 2nd, 2014, Guyana's Minister of Education.
Now, viewers, I want to just let me say this. Nigel Hughes, they're haters. They don't like us. But who represented the dirty man? Who did the dirty man go to represent him? The same Nigel that don't like them. I mean, these people ain't got no shame. This Nigel here was talking about the other Nigel that he can't count, but it's the same Nigel's form he went to represent him. The same Nigel walked with him to the police station. The same Nigel helped to get him on a $1 million bail. The PPP ain't got no shame. None whatsoever. Operator will continue with that. I have to remind you folks.
Priya Manik-Chand, who was executing the functions of the Foreign Affairs Minister, uttered some harsh words to and about the outgoing U.S. ambassador to Guyana, Mr. Brent Hart, publicly reprimanding him at his residence in Georgetown, Guyana, during a celebration to mark the 238th independence anniversary of the United States of America. Manik-Chand called the ambassador's earlier remarks diatribe and unacceptable. Social media immediately lit up, and the local press was at odds with the tawdry behavior and gratuitous and unsavory remarks made by Minister Manik-Chand, calling them unprofessional, undiplomatic, and a descent into the gutter. The opposition party and the Public Service Commission both condemned Manik-Chand's embarrassing attack. In an effort to rationalize her behavior, Manik Chand, in a later interview, further referred to the ambassador as having a history of rogue behavior, calling him a repeat offender. She accused Ambassador Hart of hijacking the People's Forum. Ms. Manik Chand and Gail Teixeira, who is the advisor to President Romatar, also referred to the ambassador as the father and supporter of the opposition.
Take away your visa. Take away your visa.
Our struggle to gain U.S. independence was a long, hard, and bloody battle. We as Americans who have had the national pride, honor, distinction, and respect of sustaining a true functional democracy for 238 years, one in which our local elections are held in keeping with our Constitution in every state, city, township, and municipality. As Americans, Independence Day is more significant and more important to us than Christmas, Thanksgiving, or any other holiday. It is observed by hundreds of millions of Americans in America and around the world. For a Guyanese official to reprimand our ambassador at a U.S. Independence Day celebration at his own residence is almost sacrilegious, uncouth, and rude. It is like you, Ms. Manik Chand and Ms. Teixeira, walking into church in the middle of Sunday Mass in a tight bikini. What a spectacle that would be. Ms. Manik Chand, that you would admit that the verbal assault on U.S. Ambassador Hart was a personal attack conjures up images of Benghazi. Hopefully our State Department will take note of this threat. Further, Ms. Manik Chand, the AFC's reference to you as a satire gal is neither sexist nor racist.
One of the political parties, AFC, talked about satire gal.
Which
now,
is
if I know the,
and
if I have
in the literary context of the famous Guyanese folk song, Satira Gal is depicted as a lascivious and promiscuous female, not an anomaly in any society. And the Guyanese street vernacular, Satira, represents a commonplace, whatless, vulgar bad woman or virago. Quite appropriate, don't you think? At the end of the 1-hour interview, Ms. Manik Chand, in a contemptuous display of arrogance, said that she was not sorry.
You know, we are not apologizing. We're not sorry at all.
Manik Chand went on to say, what did I say to take issue that is wrong?
So they are not, she wasn't sorry there. The government wasn't sorry for what she did. But you know what? The president now is saying to the leader of the opposition, I tell you, it's madness upon madness. And you know, persons are right sometimes when they say, we got more mad people outside than the mad people in the madhouse. Imagine they're not sorry for what she did then. They're sorry for the people who they're cussing out. Now imagine the vice president cussing out Rickford Burke, and now he gone to what a guy named Hakeem Jeffries. He cussing out the man too. These people are easy. So they cuss out then and they cussing now. As long as you don't walk the road with them, they're cussing you out. They're cussing you out. Kwame cussing out. Everybody cussing out. Everybody is a rogue. Everybody is a something. Everybody is a something. These people not easy. Yes. So we're going to continue on this one for a little bit, and then we're gonna come off. I know that Rickford Burke is confusing them. It's not Rickford Burke really, is the conference. The conference and what will play out at the conference. But you know what? Before we continue that clip there, I want them to understand that if they think they're going to bait people like Rickford Burke and a few others, they're falling for the bait. So when Jagdeo said, I wasn't planning to go to that conference, but I will go. You want to go there to have a showdown. That's what you want to go there to do, to have a bacchanal. But let me tell you, Rickford Burke, they've read the script already. So you're not coming there to have no showdown and nobody can scramble and all kind of thing. You're not going. You're not invited to that conference, so you can't attend. You cannot attend the conference. You will hear about the conference. You will hear about it. Let's continue on that.
What did I say? What did the government say? What did the executive say on the night of July 2nd that you can take issue with?
Now, here is Mr. Wayne Ford to answer Ms. Manik Chand's question.
So she asked then what did she say that was wrong and what did they do? So
Minister Priya Manichan and Ms. Gail Teixeira, you must be commended on a valiant attempt to justify the unjustifiable, to explain away the reprehensible, and to rationalize the rational. Ms. Manichan, it's rather disingenuous and alarming for you to ask what is at issue. Let's go to the videotape. First, both you and Ms. Teixeira have argued that Ambassador Hart had continually committed egregious breaches over a protracted period. Why did the Guyana government not engage diplomatic channels during Ambassador Hart's tenure to inform the U.S. State Department through the Guyana Embassy in Washington to request a recall or reprimand? Instead, you, Ms. Manichan, attended a celebratory event at Ambassador Hart's residence and publicly reprimanded the ambassador until you were booed and heckled by invited guests. Wasn't that a clear indication that your message was off course, inopportune, and unacceptable at that time and place? Those harsh words, as you admit to them to be, were done during the celebration of the 238th independence anniversary of the United States of America, the most inopportune time for such misconduct. Ms. Manichan, the values of common decency, respect, diplomacy, protocol, politeness, civility, and basic etiquette as a guest of the ambassador were all ignored and horribly violated. Your rampage was a poor reflection on the government of Guyana that you purport to represent and an embarrassment to the people of Guyana. What is also significant here is that the U.S. market is the largest destination of Guyana's exports. It represents approximately 31% of Guyana exports, some $434 million, and 25% of imports, according to OEC reports. Now, Priya, as Minister of Education, which part of this don't you understand? Oh, my kiss.
When you go out there and you attack a president, he attacked every single citizen of this country.
This goes both ways. When the government of Guyana personally attacked the U.S. ambassador, it also attacks the president, the government, and the citizens of the United States.
Because that democracy was prevented, our growth as a people, as a country, as a nation was retarded.
It's quite asinine to blame the U.S. involvement some 60 years ago as the reason for the sordid state of affairs in our nation today. So let's recap. After 22 years, the PPP government is mired in a cesspool of corruption, lawlessness, economic ineptitude, human rights violations, deterioration of the education system, narco-trafficking, and more. Guyana has the highest teen pregnancy rate in the region, the highest suicide rate per capita, the second highest incidence of HIV/AIDS, the highest consumption of alcohol in the region, the highest rate of immigration of skilled labor, the highest cost of electricity per capita, and an unsanitary capital city. It also boasts high unemployment, abject poverty, and no local elections in 20 years, along with the misappropriation of $4.5 billion and poor governance after 22 years of the PPP in government. And as it pertains to governance, Mr. Teixeira, you have long been the advisor to the presidents and governance. So here is Guyana's rating on governance by the 2013 World Bank report. Under the 6 dimensions of governance, here are Guyana's scores. 0 equal low, 1 equal high, and 2.5 is the highest. In voice and accountability, Guyana is negative 0.01. Political stability and lack of violence, it's negative. Government effectiveness, it's negative. Regulatory quality, rule of law, and corruption and the control of corruption are all negative. Mr. Teixeira, do you have an explanation for this abysmal performance? If Donald Trump were your boss, Mr. Teixeira, you would have heard 3 words. You are fired. It is a delusion to proclaim that Guyanese are proud of your misconduct when both AFC and the AP and you have condemned this assault. The Public Service Commission has expressed regret. And Guyanese around the world and across social media are embarrassed. Even members of the National Assembly heckled and booed during your last address.
and the wrath of the Guyanese people. They could show their wrath.
He practically hijacked the People's Forum. He's been a repeated offender. This rogue behavior.
The time has come for a new breed of leaders. Visionary, honest, polite, and civil. Leaders who understand social decorum and diplomatic protocol. Leaders who respect their trade partners and conduct themselves with dignity. Leaders who will restore national image, not tarnish it any further. We look to a new wave of leaders endowed with integrity, sincerity, and true interest in the well-being and welfare of every Guyanese, upholding the pillars of democracy, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, and solidarity for one people, one nation, and one destiny. Change we can embrace.
But I know a change gonna come.
And so that was the Madam Priya Malik Chand, who felt and still feels she's a big bully and she can say whatever she wants to say whenever she wants to say it. No wonder she was in the parliament and she was confident and bold and pompous about saying, and she's a preposition. Priya, you're dunce. She is not a preposition. She's a pronoun. Looking back then, is it different now? Are the behaviors different? And Wayne Ford, I want to thank you so much for that, because what you said then is still applicable now. It's apt. Corruption, discrimination, drugs, incompetence, everything. Then, same thing playing out now. It's not different. It's not different. Let me show you all this one with my girlfriend Priya. I would call her my girlfriend, because we've been friends for a long, long time. And she's still my friend, but I can't deal with her attitude. She has a very stinking attitude. I can't deal with that. So let me show you all this. Operator, let's do this one here, and then we'll go to maybe another one after that one. But let me show you all this here. I don't know how best you'll be able to see this, but you see this here, Ministry of Education, they print exercise books. This is the exercise book that Priya was all excited about. We are going to be distributing exercise book maybe for the first time. Everything is first time. Everything is first time for she. Everything is first time for Priya. But Priya, I want you to know, check it. The tables at the back here, it's wrong. Look, 2 sets. 2 sets. 3 times, operative, you can bring that closer. 3 times 12, 25. 3 times 12, 26. 12, 8 times 12, 95. You see why we are doing so poorly in maths over the last 3 years? You notice? That's why we're doing so poorly in maths. Because I'm sure this exercise book that was printed is some friend or some family or some favorite got the contract to do it. And you know what? Big money passed to do this. Billions of dollars were paid to do this. Billions of dollars. We got 2 others to look at. And they can't correct this. You can't pull this off. You can't pull this off. It's already out there. We're going to do it and scrap it and find more billions. And this is the kind of wastage that is happening. This is the kind of nonsense that's happening. Operator, pull up the other one. Let me show our viewers. Look. Natural resources, some natural resources of Guyana. You can tell me which set there are natural resources and which set are not natural resources. So we have forest, we have sugar, rice, fish, minerals, petroleum. Oh, Minister of Education, did you check who was monitoring the production? Who did the write-up for the printers to print? Those people should be fired immediately. Who did the recruiting? When did the bid go out? How we didn't know about this bid going out? Who were the persons who printed this? Operator, show the next one. Look, put it up close and let the viewers see. Look, there's some facts about Guyana. Fact number 2, Guyana is the only English-speaking county in South America. And don't tell me about, oh, it's a slip of the letter, the keys on the computer. Don't tell me that. This is big production that was done. Who did the proofreading? Who did it? Well, I figure it's Priya and maybe Irfan, and someone of them did the proofreading. They ain't got no shame. All their interest, all Priya could do is views out on Facebook. Plenty views on Facebook. She probably went to the University of Iflut too. Plenty viewsing on Facebook. And when she abusing on Facebook, they jump up to say, oh, Coretta McDonald, and I don't know, maybe Mark Light and some others at the GTU, they live in big fat life. I don't know what fat cat life we live in. We are being paid as teachers. We get paid as teachers. Now that I'm a parliamentarian, I get a parliamentary salary. And that ain't equal to no fat cat life, because look, we got Dirty Man still driving big fancy vehicle. I hope he moved from the house in Campbellville there. I hope he moved out to the government house. So y'all don't come and make it, don't rush up here to talk foolishness. Don't try to school anybody when you doing nonsense. Look, petrol, natural resources, county in South America. So Guyana is now a county. Huh? Is what wrong with y'all really? What is wrong with you people? I noticed, what's her name? Quinita Waldron Lewis. I noticed she signed here. Her name is there as the director of NSERD. Well, if this passed through you at NSERD, you need to go home too. If this passed through you at NSERD, or if this was printed at NSERD, you need to go home. And the other persons who did the assembling and so on, well, I can't blame the person who did the assembling, the people who did the proofreading. And you know, it's not different. What is happening now is not different to what happened back then. Back then, I'm sure our teachers are going to remember the big books, the nursery school big books that we had to pull off the shelf. I'm sure they would remember that, and billions of dollars. We had all kinds of specialists. Billions of dollars were spent to print the big books for the nursery school. Not one could have been used in the nursery school. Look at what transpired then. Is it different now? Outside of that, we got the rainbow readers. So we understand why education is taking a nosedive. We understand because of these here. Incompetence to the highest. When we're doing these things, we got to be careful. Well, if you can't read and you don't understand parts of speech and so on, you don't know the difference. In Prep A, grade 1, you were taught Guyana has 3 counties. So how on earth Guyana became a county? Huh? Y'all crazy, man. Crazy. And this is coming out of education, and the education minister posing with this on her Facebook page. She don't have anything to do. Every little thing she jump on her Facebook page and she posts it. I noticed today she posted something about, oh, teachers' salaries are going to be regularized and fixed, and those who used to receive, those who were receiving. Yes, the people right there, they were right to say, to talk about the wild hog, because it's wild business. Wild business going on here. Sheer wild business going on. Oh, teachers are being removed from their schools and they're sent to seconded to the department. And then they're given supernumerary appointments for do all kind of things. And then they move from one spot and they jump till to the top. And then they're gone somewhere else. All kinds of madness happening in the school. You know what we got happening in the school? One school, 4 staff members. And you know what they have? 17 10-day workers. One school, 4 staff members, 10, 17, 4 staff members, but 17 10-day workers. And so Priya Manichan puts up the madness there where she says, teachers who have been receiving incorrect salary, I'm happy to tell you that from September, you're going to receive your correct salary, all fault of the APNU AFC. She always, all of them, they like to cast blame. But Priya, you must tell your folks on Facebook, must write on your Facebook page that under Barajagio, the GTU signed an agreement since 2007 with the debunching. You know how the teachers got paid? During the coalition's term in office, the teachers got paid debunching monies. And you still owe us debunching monies. And you know what you're telling the teachers now? That you can't pay the back money. The coalition government could have paid all of those back monies. The coalition government was able to pay them. And we had oil resources. You have oil resources now, and you're telling the teachers that you can't pay them the back monies, you're going to pay them current. You don't got no shame, girl? Get from here. These people are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. So you better fix this tables on the book before you teach children wrong thing. And you better fix those facts that you have there. And you better tell your folks who doing the printing and who did the write-up and so on, tell them it's wrong. It's wrong. You got to teach them the right thing. And so we got the mathematics, the other story, mathematics in school and more hours for teaching mathematics. Well, let me tell you all, if the children can't grasp the concepts in 5 hours, I don't know if you extend it to 6 and 7 hours, if they'll be able to grasp the concept then. And y'all so foolish. You don't know that if there's a problem, you have to go to the root of the problem to get it solved. You have to go to the root to find out what exactly the problem is. So that's what you have to do, Priya, you and your presidents. Tell him, you don't extend hours. You've got to invest in your human resources. And then you'll be able, man, you see, this is the thing. They throw away the entire program that Nicolette Henry had there when she served as minister. You remember when Nicolette served there as minister, our maths percentage went up. We didn't reach 50, but it went from where it was, it went way up. Now it dropped because these clowns decided that because it was a plan from the APNU, they threw it in a corner. So they're coming with a new plan now. A new plan they're coming with. But what we're going to do, we're going to take some calls, because if I continue to go on like this, we ain't going to get the calls. So we're going to take some calls. It's a whole lot of information I got for you this evening, you know, but I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to share all. If we continue, we wouldn't have the calls. And so, preposition lady, fix this story here. Fix it. Fix this story. Fix this story. And the teachers got a business too that y'all ain't fixing, but y'all gonna fix it. Trust me, you're gonna fix the teachers' business. And let me tell you, and let me let the viewers know that in 2018, when the teachers, took industrial action, Coretta McDonald was there leading that. Because when it comes to teachers, when it comes to the business of teachers, I don't play, because I'm a teacher. So this time, when we took industrial action, then Priya Manikchand was there complimenting the teachers for taking the stand. Priya Manikchand, if you check her Facebook page, you're going to see the comments she made, that they must engage the teachers union. They must talk to the teachers representative. Teachers deserve better. But now she has returned as Minister of Education, and she ain't got time with teachers, that teachers are important. and teachers should be paid. She's remembering that now. You know, she's not remembering that. She is not remembering that teachers are important. She spoke about the Minister of Education then, Nicolette Henry, and she was telling her that Nicolette need to engage the teachers, but Priya not engaging the teachers union now. So the president, he is going out there to engage the teachers and not the teachers union. Go by, go brave, go full speed, like if your name Usain Bolt, go full speed and engage the teachers in the different regions. Go engage them. I hope when they drop it on you, you could take it. Go and engage them. I mean, these people are so reckless. This same president, when he was the shadow minister of housing, in parliament, he gave a grand speech. I'm sorry that the operator can't pull it up now. A grand speech where he talked about the teachers are important, pay the teachers. What has happened to collective bargaining? We must return to collective bargaining. Now he's talking about going in and consulting with teachers. And the teachers union is there. The teachers union would have written him at least 5 times, sending their proposal to him. Not a word from him. But he's going, go and engage the teachers, man, go. I hope you could speak properly when you go there to them, because they can heckle you and they will correct you. So go and say nonsense to them. Callers, viewers, we are going to take some calls. The number you are seeing there, it's 684-8758. That's the number to call. 684-8758. Call the number and tell us how you feel about what happened, what transpired then, and is it different now? So while we're waiting to get your calls, operator, I don't know if there's a lock on the phone, then I don't know how I'll get it changed. But I figure we'll probably try to get it changed somehow. Yes. So callers, I'm saying callers all the time. Viewers, it ain't no different. These people are some good jagabats. As my friend Sherrod would say, they are jagabats. They are jagabats. Maybe, operator, maybe you could stand right there and monitor when the calls come in so you can open when the phone is closed. Yes, while we're waiting to get your calls, feel free to call 684-8758. We're ready to take your calls before we go. Let's talk about this. So while we're waiting on the calls to come through, I want to remind you that the coalition we saw coming from Mr. James Dr. Vincent Adams, he spoke about the PPP. There's a whole long write-up that he has there, where he's talking about the PPP, and he's saying how these people, they ain't got to the effect that they ain't got no shame and so on. That they ain't got no shame. But we will look at that one another time. I don't know. I'm getting a call here. I don't know if somebody Good evening, caller, you're on.
Good evening, Common McDonald.
Good evening to you, ma'am.
You're quite in order with what you were saying concerning for the last 23 years of the PPP government, and it's the same thing or worse this time, because I don't really know what they're teaching the children. And they got some real square pegs in wrong holes as ministers. I hope that the VP will views out, and the Feral Beast minister will cuss out, especially from Facebook, know what they're about, and tell the installed president that he must go back to a proper university and stop forging the papers and all the like of it, because I don't understand what they're really saying. They want to make Guyana a Dubai. And guess what? The oil money, they're sharing it among Guyanese people. Guyanese qualified, but they said they ain't training nobody to become nothing as engineers on Exxon. But they're bringing people from Qatar the whole flipping day today. Was flirting with Qatar. No. Like Guyanese, especially black Guyanese, because the late candidate, what was his name, that died the other day, he said they had no black person qualified enough to get in the foreign service.
Dr. Luncheon. Mm-hmm.
Good. And shortly after, he looked shame. But he was so ashamed that he couldn't even correct himself when he did advising the PPP. Probably they advising them, but they went on making mischief, so they did their own thing. But he had to confess his sins, so that's why God now take you out. I can see who had a scapegoat, they will get to put in his place. Thank you and have a blessed night.
Have a good night, caller. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye. I know that these are the calls that are coming in here, and these are not our views. These are what the people are saying out there. And so they call it saying that what happened then is the worse is happening now. What transpired then, worse is happening now, and they ain't got no shame. And you know what? I don't know how many of you listened to the VP when he at the night of the reflection of Dr. Luncheon and at the funeral, when that man threw Dr. Luncheon under the bus. You think these people are ordinary? The man actually said that it's not them, it's Luncheon us, it's Luncheon dead and gone to his grave, with all the information with regards to the Phantom Squad and the killings. These people ain't ordinary. So we have the number there for you to call is 684-8758. That's the number to call, 684-8758. You know, we've got some issues with some Chinese stores. I'm hoping that the Minister of Labor is listening. Chinese stores overworking their workers and they're not paying them properly. Send your labor officers to investigate what is happening at some of those Chinese stores. The hours that they have to work, they ain't got full lunch hour and all of that. I notice another call is coming. Let me take this one. Good evening, caller. You're on.
Hi.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
John Thompson here. I think you know my voice by now. Listen, I'm watching your show. Great show. I'm going to make a suggestion. I suggest that more opposition parliamentarians come out and speak. Like your show you're doing here, you guys have to saturate social media with these type of programs. Ben Sharp is doing it. Sherrod is doing it. XCU is doing it. I'm trying. We all got to saturate the social media with our voices. All right.
Thank you so much, caller.
I see you guys are not coming out on the ground, which would be a little better. But if they come up on social media, all right? But eventually, you're gonna also have to come out on the ground and talk to the guys. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much, and we are going to do that. I guess some of our parliamentarians are not as popular as some of us, but we have quite a few of them who are doing programs just the same way Sherrod and I and Mark and so on are doing. But we'll do a little more. I can promise you that.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
That'll be okay.
Good evening. Bye-bye. Yes, I think we made a mistake at one time and we placed another number. So some persons are calling another number rather than calling the 651. But we are going to just store that number. It's 651. It's another number we're using now? Oh, so the number that you're supposed to call is 651-3556. 6513556. My apologies, sorry. 6513556. That's the number to call. And I think it's because you weren't getting the number that we had on screen before. I don't remember the number. My apologies, please. Sorry. You notice? I am confessing my sins because I know I did something wrong. Mr. President, come confess your sins. Don't confess to me. Confess your sins. Ask your vice president to confess his sins. Ask your ministers to confess their sins. Ask them to confess their sins. And so that we can move on. Don't bother with the handshake thing. Done with the handshake thing. Talk like a big man, man. Behave like a big man. You're big. Behave like a big man. Don't talk about handshake and handshake. When you talk about handshake, what? Are you going to confirm the chief, the acting chief justice and the active chief, the chancellor and the chief judge? Are you going to confirm them? Huh? If you get a handshake, you're going to confirm. If you get a handshake tonight, are you going to confirm them by 12 o'clock? So don't talk about this handshake thing. You're a little too petty. Handshake. Come on. We got bigger things to do than to worry about handshake and handshake. I noticed that schools would have been reopened, and we got plenty shambles in the schools. Fire at Queen's College, there was one. There was one at Low Quarantine Secondary. Somewhere else they had another fire. Fire, because they're fixing the buildings properly. They're not looking at the wiring of the buildings. Schools reopen, shortage of furniture. I noticed we got shortage of furniture in New Amsterdam. Fix these things. Fix them. Operative, we're not having any more calls. Then we're going to just show this last slide that talks where we're doing the roads. The roads that were being done. And this is Nigel Didaramlal. Nigel Didaramlal, dirty man. This was done under him. These roads that we have there. And you can see the roads that we're talking about. You can see them roads, man. You will see the roads that we're talking about. Roads. Look, these are roads. Region 5 allocated funds for 30 roads to be constructed on the west coast of Berbice between Union and Fort Wellington there, reaching till to Fort Wellington. Look, Bushlot, 23 roads. Bushlot, 23 roads. Number 30 village, 1 road. Lovely Lass, 1 road. That's a Lovely Lass community, 1 road. Number 28 village, 1 road. Catherine's Lost, 1 road. Number 22 village, 1 road. Hope Town, 1 road. Unverwacht community, 1 road. You see all them one there, they represent 1 Guyana. But the 23 roads represent the 23 years that the PPP were in power before. That's the people that dirty for so. They're not easy. So 23 roads in Bushlot community, 23 roads. People, you viewers, you can tell me if it's different then, and if it's the same thing now, or if it's different now, what transpired then, if it's not the same thing, or if it's different now. Yes, the number to call is 651-3556. So these are the allocations for roads in region number 5. Bushlot, 23 roads. You decide what's going on here. 1 Guyana. Bushlot, 23 roads. And all the other places, 1 road. I know what happened in there, but of course, they got promote 1 Guyana. So it's 1 Guyana versus 23 years of the PPP. Callers, viewers, I have to go. My time is almost there, if not there. Next week, we're going to deal with some others. Next week, we look at what is happening with all of these monies that we borrow in and where the money is going. We got to find out where these money is going. So we're going to talk about that next week. All these millions of US dollars that we borrowed, where they're going. They're saying that it's being allocated to do this and that and the other, but we're not seeing that happening. I want to say thank you for being here and for keeping me company on advancing the cause. Before I go, I want to say to you, the president, Ali, said, the people, we must have Spanish in school. Spanish or Portuguese or some foreign language must be taught in school, but he's more concentrating on Spanish. Well, Ali, and well, Priya, let me tell you, if the two of you can't speak Spanish, I don't know how y'all gonna want it to be implemented in school. Y'all must stop just waking up one night and get some crazy dream and come in the mornings and you want to implement that. You can't implement Spanish in schools where you don't have Spanish teachers. You can't implement Spanish in school when you don't have a plan. You're just hop and drop and haphazard. Everything is a drop. Just the same way you see Ali pull the man, it's just he pulls Spanish and telling the teachers put it on the timetable now. He's not, they didn't even look at the people's timetable. The timetables are all packed. Now they want to show like if they're doing something. Oh, we gonna pack in music. Oh, we gonna pack in this. You must have a plan. We're tired of this dropping up and dropping. We're tired of it. We want that anymore. The teachers paint in the classrooms nice, and y'all doing foolishness. We'll take one last caller before we go. Caller, good evening to you. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. I'm getting back to the exercise book. To the highest mountain in Guyana. The highest mountain in Guyana is Mount Ayangano. Roraima, the chain of mountains, is in 3 countries.
Yes.
But in Guyana, the highest mountain is Mount Ayangano.
So you see, another mistake we pick up there already, another one. I don't know what Priya gonna do. Thank you so much, caller, for bringing that to our attention. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, viewers, I don't know what they're gonna do, but we gotta do something. We got to get rid of these people. They're no good for Guyana. No good for Guyana. Look at what happened then, and is it different now? And we've not touched on a lot of things. We ain't touched on the murders yet. You remember the Bacchus's brothers? We ain't touched that yet. You remember Kozerki? We ain't touched that yet. We ain't touched that yet. You remember the 4 young men who were shot dead on where you have on that junction on the back road there where you have the DSL supermarket and so on? We ain't touched them yet. We ain't touched Shaka Blair. We ain't touched Johann C. Douglas. So it's a lot of things that I have to bring to your remembrance. Look at what happened then, and is it different now? We had Phantom Squad then. We got supernatural forces now. I figured they're gonna be you know what? They're gonna be the Phantom Squad. But tell me, I don't know. Y'all tell me. I see one of our folks saying they didn't even know the English nor the grammar. How they gonna want to speak Spanish? Well, I know they're gonna bite up their tongues and so. But let me say to you, LFS Burnham had the best plan for this country. You remember LFS Burnham was telling us plant a seed in your yard, throw down something in your backyard, clear your front yard there, plant a seed, put something down. And you know what the PPP said then? That Burnham wanted to make us slaves. Burnham wanted to get us doing this and doing that. But you see, if we plant the little kitchen garden, we ain't gonna go and buy the $500 celery. Plant a little thing down. The best educational plan that we had in this country and the best plan overall that we had was plans that were there by LFS Burnham and plans that fell under the stewardship of the PNC. The PPP come and they do a bundle of stupidness. And so we got to get rid of them. We got to get them out. So folks, get registered. We can talk this story. We can sing this story. We'll read this story and we'll read them out. We can mark them out. Do have a good night. Take care. Be careful on the roads. Remind your friends and your neighbors to be careful when they have to use the road. Be good Guyanese citizens. We ain't talk about the dirty water yet. We ain't talk about the dirty man. Operator, could you put up that dirty man for us? We must show this dirty man every time on this program. Because this is the dirty man who trying to do all kinds of madness right now. That's the dirty man there. Disgraced former Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, whatever it is. Dirty man. This is the dirty man who like to talk about dildo. This is the dirty man who was accused of raping and sodomizing a little girl. This is the same dirty man who's saying that he now wake up because I tell him about his sister who died 11 years ago. Dirty man, we ain't forget you. So viewers, good night again, and thank you for watching us here on Advancing the Cause. See you again next week for more on Advancing the Cause. Looking back at what it was then, is it different now? You tell me next week. Bye-bye. God bless you.